Hey yo, it's time to roar, get loud, let's ignite. Jeremy B in the house, we keeping it tight. Every weekday at 11, we ready to ride. Lions Talk Live, come and join the pride. Waking up early, it's that morning grind. Tune in to the show, leave the troubles behind. Jeremy B's the king, with the voice like thunder. Every word he spits, it's a lyrical wonder. Got the lions around, sharp and fierce. When we hear one pride, you can't help but feel your heart pierce. Talking all the topics, keep it real, keep it raw. With a lion's mentality, we're ready for the roar. One pride, it feels right. Jeremy B bringing the heat, morning light. Every weekday at 11 we taking flight. Lions Talk Alive, yeah, we ready to bite. One pride, hear us loud. Jeremy's in the zone, making us proud.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good afternoon. It is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B. And let's face it, we got to cover it because it's getting big. It is officially 8 coaching vacancies. But the NFL record for head coaching vacancies is a tie at 11 in 2006 and 2009. 6 to 9 head coaching vacancies happen every season, whether it's firings, retirings, or anything else. But Mike McDaniel went to the end of season meeting at 8 a.m. in Miami, and before 10 a.m., he walked out unemployed. That is what they basically do. They come in, you do the end of season meeting, you talk with the review of the previous season, then they talk to you about what are your views for the next season. By the time he got halfway through his sentence, he says, yeah, we're not moving forward with you. But I think it's more of a reaction to Harbaugh being fired in Baltimore. Because it's funny how a couple days ago, Mike McDaniel was fine on Tuesday after Black Monday, and now Harbaugh's fired and he's fired. Thank you. I try to be. I listen to everybody I talk to, whether they're fans or newscasters or podcasters or broadcasters or fellow people in the media. And I've been listening to them. And Linderbaum is in contract talk with Baltimore, despite losing their coach. Why? He is to that franchise what Frank Ragnow was to us. I remember that draft when Pittsburgh took Kenny Pickett, and 2 picks later, the Ravens got Linderbaum, and I said, Pittsburgh made a huge mistake. They probably could have had Pickett in the second round because he was not first-round talent. And they should have got Linderbaum and got the anchor of their O-line. Because the center is the anchor and the leader of an O-line. They're the ones that call out protection. Maybe not as a rookie, but the following year. Linderbaum has been great for Baltimore already. Hey, no problem, Nick. Only thing I'm going to ask is next time make it so we're looking at your entire face instead of just nose up, because it makes it look like you're going, I'm just playing. Trying to be funny. Trying to give you good criticism and make it a joke. So, Mike McDaniel's out there. Do I think he's head coaching material? No. If he was, with the amount of talent that's been in and out of that lineup with Miami, they'd have been in the playoffs and maybe won a game more often. They haven't. So I think he's a better offensive coordinator. He was a great offensive coordinator under Kyle Shanahan. And when he was there, Kyle Shanahan wasn't calling plays. That was Mike McDaniel. He wasn't just a clipboard holder back then. And they had a very good run. And that was without Christian McCaffrey. Imagine what he'd be doing there as their OC with Christian McCaffrey now. On to personal things that happened. Miguel. Oh, that's okay. I get it. I'm just letting you know because I've had to work with people before. It's constructive criticism, buddy. And I'd rather do it live because if I wouldn't say it live in front of other people, I shouldn't say it to your face. Yes, I would love McDaniels here. But I'm going to say something that's going to make Lions fans mad. Remember in 2021 when we fired or demoted Anthony Lynn and we promoted Ben Johnson, and in the off season we made Ben Johnson a first time OC after being a passing game coordinator from the year before to help Dan Campbell call plays. I think Miami wins tonight. They're just a better overall team, better coached. Uh, there's like 8 guys that we would love to be on the Lions off of that team as rookies coming into the next season that are going to be available, but we're not going to be able to get them where we pick. Um, Akeem Messador, he's probably going to be rising up the draft boards into being a second round pick. So unless we trade back in the first, because let's do the hypothetical that all the tackles are gone and we get a chance to move back and get either a late first, early second, and possibly a third and a pick after that or a pick in the next draft. I almost would take that deal because I don't think that any of the centers are first round talent except for maybe Parker Braswell. But he's undersized but very athletic and moves very well and does have the hand pop. He's got a violent hand pop. So that's another guy to look at. I think Parker Braswell is going to be the best one because Connor Lew is injured and we don't know when he'll be able to clear medical to even do a pro day or a combine or anything because he had a second ACL tear. No, thanks, John Dorn. I think he's finally learned his lesson because last year we didn't draft injury prone players that they didn't have injury history. So miss me, miss me again because that's not what happened. Um, he refused to fire any of the coordinators. They wanted the coordinators gone after about 4 games, and he refused to do it. He stood up for his coordinators. There's something to be said for loyalty, and I get it. But at the same time, where's the loyalty to Harbaugh? Because he wouldn't get rid of the OCs mid-season. They decided you're out. The first thing that happened was everybody thinks Harbaugh got a job. Is the guy getting the head coaching interview at the Browns? No, it's Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator. They're bringing him in. I think that's a mistake. Um, Mike McDaniel being fired this morning, I'm pretty sure that's the other one. And I think the Giants requested to talk to Halfley of the Packers, if I'm not mistaken, Dorn. Exact. Well, because look what happened. one of the winningest coaches other than Belichick with a long tenure in Mike Tomlin. He has a higher win percentage than Mike Tomlin, and he got fired over it. So while it's admirable, and I get it, I think he made a mistake. I still think it's funny. Bill Belichick, Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid, and John Harbaugh all started as special teams coaches for their coaching career or special team coaches assistants. Something to be said about not getting offensive or defensive coordinators and getting a special teams coach as your head coach for a first time head coach. Think about that. Yes, it is. Good afternoon, RBF Fred. It's good to see you, brother. You must be hitting your lunch because I know you were busy earlier and couldn't talk much. But again, I want to put this up here so everybody can see it. 6 to 9 head coaching vacancies happen every year on average. 2006 and 2009 was the record with 11 vacancies. Yeah, Dave Phipp has done an excellent job. Look at who he's worked with. He made Riley Patterson get a job and kick a field playoff win field goal. Remember that? Riley Patterson. We had him in 2021. Who else did we have before we found Bates last year? We had a few, and they've been in and out. I think where we made the mistake, and you can say what you want, we resigned Blau and Boyle, or signed Blau and brought in Tim Boyle in 2021 instead of re-signing Prater. We should have re-signed Prater then, because then we could have went straight from Prater to Bates. Because I would have done that. I understand Prater and Bates have the same accuracy between 50 and 40 yards. Go look at it. They have the exact same accuracy. That's where they miss. They don't miss a lot long, and they don't miss a lot short. But they're basically the same kicker with with Bates having more leg power. And we're blessed in the return game. And I think we're blessed enough that we don't have to bring Leaf back. Tom Kennedy averaged 27 yards a return. Jacob Saylor's averaged 27.9 yards per return. Vaki, the couple times he returned, he averaged about 17 yards on punt returns. So Leaf. If you're on X, please switch over to the YouTube side. That's Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions. I can't see your comments there. Or go to the Rumble, Ken the Bear fan, where I'm going live there. because those comments come through great. The Facebook ones come through as well on the Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions or the Huddle Sports Network. So you can go to either one of them, any one of those platforms, and I'll get the comments. But for some reason, X doesn't like to communicate with StreamYard well. And I think it's because above the video, there's a link where you got to give them access to your profile picture and your comment. And most people don't do that. I know that there's one guy that comes in and he talks, and I don't mind it. I don't mind if you do talk on X. I want you to. I want you to engage. I want you to like the shows. I want you to repost them. Quote post them if possible. Put them in other groups that I'm not a part of, whether on Facebook, Twitter. Link them to IG on my shorts. I don't care. You can share those. I don't care. Make money off my content. Facebook is already paying me, and I'm on my way here. Hello, Layla Muhammad here. Nice to meet you. And welcome to Lions Talk, where I talk Lions football. I will not go political. Don't ask me the political questions. Hello, good to see you. I'm not doing political stuff. This is not that. This is NFL based. Um, we're having a great year in other sports in Detroit as well. Red Wings playing fantastic hockey. Pistons are playing great basketball. And the Lions are out of the playoffs, but they did have a winning season, so I guess we can rest our laurels on that. It was disappointing. We were projected as the division winner coming into the year. It's a joke. It has to do with what happened back in 2014 or 12 or 14. I moved out of the town, out of the main part of Flint back in 2007. But Flint, look it up, the Flint water crisis. It was bad. It was very bad. Lead, people dying and babies dying of Legionnaire's disease, people getting rashes and stuff from their water because they connected to old lines that they didn't fix. That's what it was all about. So that's the running joke. That's why we say the Flint bottled water. That's why I do that particular little. When we lose, this is what I'm putting up. Empty trophy case, foreclosure notices, Flint Water Company, a malt liquor, the bag from 2008 that came out. And I don't understand why fans wore bags. They should have left that as a New Orleans Saints thing. But where I live here in Burton, we have well water. It's perfect. I made up that line for Brandon's Tire because they were my sponsor. But we will be doing a mock draft shortly because that's what I do. You know, we're out of the playoffs. There's nothing better to do for us. Chad Ortega, good to see you hit the like. Congratulations, Bears Packers. You're first and second in the division. Bears are first, Packers are second. You had the same amount of wins as us. The only reason you're in is because of the tie with Dallas. But you would have been in because you swept us. And you had a better record in the division. It is what it is. We got swept by you. We got swept by Minnesota. Congratulations. After last season, it kind of feels like redemption for Packers and Bears fans. Oh, wait, Bears didn't beat us, did they? Oh, sorry. For Vikings fans, Bears are still winless 2 years in a row, 0-4 versus the Lions with Caleb Williams, 0-2 with Ben Johnson. Those are realities. That is not fiction. I think the first game scared Ben. In the second game, he outthought himself. I agree with Ken on that. And the Bear fan. Too quiet again in that background. I got to do something about it. I want to thank all 31 of you watching. But I don't like to talk about the political stuff. I like to talk about football. It's time. Let's do another mock draft for our Lions.
Dreams deferred and soaked in beer. The wind howls a lonely song. Another season gone wrong.
Two great offense.
Across the frozen ground.
I don't think so. Not enough. There he is. That's who I want. I don't mind going back 4 spots. There we go. That's what I was looking for. There we go. Good side. Three spots? Yes. Not a fan of him. Ooh, he fell. Oh yeah, I'll take him. Six one and 225. 6-1 33.
City sleeps another year. Dreams deferred and
Thank you, Nick and Jay. Jay, hi.
the wind howls a lonely song.
Good to see you, brother.
Another season gone wrong. But wait a sound across
6'3" and 190. There we go.
Lions
6', 195.
smoking down rubber ghosts of better days.
Better days.
Echoes in a hazy maze. Same old story year on year. Hope and heartbreak always near. A rumble deep, secrets they will keep. Lions
No.
smoking Jeremy
I think he's underrated. Trey Zune is an excellent offensive guard. That's my guy. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to screenshot that. I do have some good news though. Let me stop the music. I have been asked to do an interview about my path through journalism, how I got started, what made me start doing it, how I got to where I am now, writing about three teams. Because I've been writing about the Lions for 4 seasons, and 3 weeks ago I got asked to start writing about the Jaguars and the Buccaneers, and I'm proud to do it. Which means I got to dive more into their roster this offseason to be able to go into a season preview about who they should probably look at in the draft and do more scouting because they probably have different positions that they need next season than us. I get to write about playoff football still, and I'm kind of proud of that. But yet at the same time, it's kind of sad that not because of our Lions. So let's get this done here. Let's get our. So we ended up with 10 picks in my mind. Yeah, it'll be a Zoom meeting, and then they're going to send me a questionnaire where I fill it out. It goes into their blog. He writes about journalists across the country, and I'm honored he asked me. He reached out through LinkedIn. That's usually a way more valid spot to get those type of offers and stuff. So Miguel Mike Medina will be interviewing me next Tuesday at 4 p.m. So somebody recognizes I have talent. Yes, he was. He developed the air raid system at Texas Tech. While he was at Texas Tech, though, he had a reputation that came to be known as the Kingsbury flop. And what that's talked about, it was a 13 game season if you made a bowl game back then because they didn't have the CFP. So, and if they did, Texas Tech wasn't in it anyways. Thank you, RBF. So I get to tell my awful backstory on why I really got started doing this and be honest about it. Yep. So I get to have an interview. I get to do something that tells the story of my son, David Mike. And I'll be honored to do that. It'll be a sad day and a happy day all at the same time. Uh, so let's get this. It's not. Um, and that's why when these young people lose their lives, it hits me harder than it does most. Thank you, Michael Ditton Edwards. I appreciate that. But here's the results of that draft. We got 10 picks because I made that trade back in the second round. I traded back twice to gain extra picks. So I ended up with picks in all 3 rounds because we started with Francis Maugawa out of Miami. I got Anthony Lucas, 6'5", 272-pound edge out of USC at the 63rd pick. Logan Jones out of Iowa for center at 95. Somehow Kenyatta Jackson is sliding down, and it's probably because Maugawa owned him. Sicario Davis out of Washington, a 6'3", 210-pound corner. Genesis Smith, a 6'2", 210-pound safety. Aiden Fisher out of Indiana, the 6'1", 233-pound linebacker, just like Malcolm Rodriguez. Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech, who is a 6'5", 320-pound defensive tackle. Trey Zune, a 6'6", 330-pound offensive guard. And Kendall Daniels, the former safety turned linebacker that they called the cheetah position at Oklahoma. They created it for him because when he got there, he was 6'2" and 210 pounds. And in the next 2 seasons, he grew to be 6'5" and 242 with the workout and the carb load program at Oklahoma. And that means he's developed from an in-the-box safety to a great linebacker off ball at middle linebacker. You pair him up with Jack Campbell, oh boy. Because I don't think we re-signed Anzalone. Anzalone's in his 30s. He started missing more tackles. His missed tackle rate got closer to what it was in 2021 versus 22, 23, and 24, where he led the team in tackles. Jack Campbell had 60 more total tackles than Alex Anzalone. Jack Campbell, as a middle linebacker, had passes defended, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, sacks, and 165 tackles. By far, if you go across the board by metrics, he's probably one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL right now, and we're blessed to have him. So for all of you that want us to go out and splurge and make the massive trade, throw away the pick and go get somebody like Crosby or go get somebody else that might be available for opposite Aiden Hudson, I have one question to ask. Laporta, Campbell, Branch, and Gibbs, who don't you re-sign? Because you're losing 2 to 3 of them to take on Max Crosby's contract or to sign Trey Hendrickson in the offseason. You're losing 3 of them. Laporta will be fine. It was a herniated disc. He'll be back before training camp. It is not a retirement issue. Kirby Joseph, that's the one we got to worry about. That's why I draft safety. I do that for a reason. I wanted Kilgore, but I waited too long. I should have got him. I probably should have snagged him in the second round instead of an edge. Because, and honestly, we had 14 sacks out of Aiden Hutchinson and 11 and a half out of Al-Qadim Muhammad. We had 2 guys in the top 10 for the season. We had 49 sacks as a team. Were we that awful opposite Hutchinson? No. Everybody disappeared at the same time on the defensive line, and that's why we lost games on top of porous O-line play. It was both. It wasn't just one side or the bottle that failed. Oh, so am I. And that's why I'd at least draft a safety and maybe sign a mid-tier backup, a mid-tier starter as a backup, just in case. I think BB might not be back till late October to early December. Because remember, it's 10 months to a year recovery time for an Achilles tear surgery. Kirby Joseph, he has a cartilage that does not repair itself. It has to have surgery. I haven't heard he had surgery yet. The longer he takes, the longer he'll be out this next season, which means we'll be out without our 2 all-pro safeties for another year. That's why we got to start thinking progressively and not just be complacent, not just go for the bargain bin stuff. We have to get a mid-tier starter as a free agent and draft one for depth to develop. I say go back and re-sign Iffy. You could probably get him for less than half than what Branch or Kirby's going to get because he was good. He just wasn't great for Miami. He was good, not great for us. He was great in spot start. But when he had to play an entire season that year, we got rid of Walker. He was exposed next to Kirby. That's why we drafted BB. And yes, he helped in a couple games when people were out. Grandma Trace, good to see you. Yeah, I did another mock draft number 24. That's where we're at. We're on the couch. We're Cancun bound as a team. But that was my draft. Screenshot it. I'll probably do it as a clip later. But I do have to work today, so I will be cutting this show short. It is a pleasure to talk Lions football. Mike McDaniel's gone. There are 8 coaching vacancies, and there might be 2 more. There might be 2 more after this week, and I'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna guess who. Oh, they are fun. It's mock drafts are the Sears and Roebuck's wish list. Thank you, Michael Ditton Edwards. I try to talk them through. Sometimes it's hard. But try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It does start right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. And we will see you tomorrow at noon, where it's me and BA. We're going to do our season recap. And then on the Lions Fan Cave chat, I'm probably going to do the season recap there too. And then each week, it'll be the same thing. I will go live every day at noon. I will do my NFL Roundtable Talks at 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday. I'll do Fire Up with the South Florida Tribune on Thursday. And I'll still do my Lions Fan Cave chat with a weekly news recap. Thank you, Sledge. I know who you are, Mitchell. Thank you. Look at how many games we lost by less than a touchdown when the defense was playing great. And I'm going to break it down to a certain date tomorrow when the whole defense fell apart. And it was a combination of things that made it happen. Some of it was coaching, some of it was players and how they played on the field, and some of it was just bad luck. It happened. Disappointing season results-wise. 9-8 is not what we wanted to be. But it's way better than anything we got with Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn's front office. Because guess what? Their best season was 5 wins. Go back to the Millen era. It was awful. We had a nice little run under the Mayhew regime, but he wasn't great either. He got lucky that Jim Schwartz developed that defense into what it was that Caldwell got, and then it slowly dismantled year by year. And we got worse every year until Patricia got here. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love, everybody. Peace, love, and chicken grease.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.